Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today. For this one, as you can see, we are going to do another malt whisky, and this one is a little bit of a special video actually. You guys will be seeing this video on the 23rd of December 2018. When this video publishes, I will have just landed in Japan, and that's my first time there in about 18 months actually. So I thought this would be a very good time to do my first ever Japanese whisky review for the channel. So I really hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. So this one is the Suntory Whisky Hibiki Master Select Edition. It comes in at 43% ABV, and this one of course is from Osaka, which is where I actually spend most of my time in Japan. So I just thought this was a very cool whisky to review for you as my first Japanese one. You know, the Japanese are producing some absolutely beautiful whiskies at the moment. I've tried a couple of them and been very impressed, so I'm hoping that this one, I have had a little taste of this before and I remember that it's good, but I'm really looking forward to doing a more kind of in-depth tasting for you here on the channel. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one, and a special thank you to Hannah and Matthias in this video as well. As I've explained to you, when it comes to the whisky reviews, I'm really kind of relying on people lending me their bottles and things like that to take a little bit and review for you. You know, to run a whisky channel would be madly expensive. I'm not in the fortunate position like Ralphie and Whisky.com, the German guys there who have relationships with distributors and bars and things like that. It really just is a very kind of small thing, this, but my goal for the channel over the next year or so is to kind of keep doing at least one whisky review for you a month, and I really do hope that you guys enjoy them. It's a nice little kind of side branch of the channel too. So yeah, we'll see how we get on with this one. But as I say, this was the Suntory Whisky was actually the first ever whisky that was produced in Japan, so it's kind of only right, and especially with my background with Osaka as well, I think this is a very fitting one to do as my first Japanese review. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. But yeah, as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the distillery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the distillery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Suntory Whisky, and very first time I'm reviewing one of their whiskies, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The channel has craft beer reviews, it has sake reviews, and it has whisky reviews as well, some other tidbits in there, so make sure you check out those videos. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some other distilleries, craft beers and things like that that you would like me to check out. Particularly let me know some other Japanese distilleries that I should check out as well, because I only know a couple of them by heart, so it would be cool to get some recommendations in that regard. But yeah, let's get on with the actual history part of the video then. And so on to my distillery notes. So the Suntory company was founded by Tori Shinjiro, who opened his first store, which was called Tori Shoten, back in Osaka in February of 1899, and he started this store up basically to sell imported wines. Later in 1907 though, they began selling the Akadama, which was it's quite a well-known Japanese port wine. It's very nice. I've tried one or two of that variety, but the store became known as the Kotobukiya Company in 1921, and they expanded over the following years. But Tori opened the first malt whisky distillery in Japan, which was called the Yamazaki Distillery, and of course they do have one of their whiskies that is named after that as well. But they began production in December of 1924, and they sold their first whisky 5 years later, which was the Suntory Whisky Shofuda, which was the white label one, and this was actually the first single malt that was ever produced in Japan. So the Second World War led to a shortage of supplies, and it halted their development of new products. But in 1946 they re-released their Tori's whisky, which sold very well in post-war Japan. You know, despite the economy just being absolutely annihilated pretty much, the Japanese really kind of retained this, you know, they were always willing to spend their money and things like that. The Japanese are, it's a very commercialised country actually. But in 1963 Kotobukiya changed its name to Suntory after the name of the whisky that they were producing, the Tori's whisky. But the same year they also began to produce the Suntory beer at the Musashino beer factory as well. In 2009 though, they became a stockholding company, and over the years they've purchased Orangina. They also purchased the Frucor energy drinks, as well as the US bourbon producer Jim Beam, and the drinks division as well of GlaxoSmithKline, which includes things like Lucozade and Ribena. Since 1997 as well, they've also been the sole licensee for Pepsi products in Japan. So all the Pepsi stuff that you drink and eat or whatever in Japan is produced by Suntory. Suntory, but they also own the Bowmore distillery in Scotland as well, which I didn't know actually. I didn't realise that was part of a Japanese company. But the current CEO of the company is Nobutada Saji, who apparently is the wealthiest individual in Japan, and today Suntory is the 4th largest producer of food and drink in Japan. You know, there's Asahi, there's Kirin and things like that as well. I don't know who the other company would be. It doesn't come to mind. You know, for me, there was always the big three. You know, Suntory, Suntory, Kirin and Asahi were always the big ones that I knew. So yeah, really interesting company this one. As is the case with many Japanese companies, it's got a long history, and you know, it tends to be the thing. The one thing that's quite funny in Japan is you get this big company at the top of things, and they've got a little hand in everything. That's very, very common in Japan. One of the strangest ones I've come across actually in Japan so far was one of the craft breweries that I did a review from, and they actually were they were a furniture company, and they just decided one day we're going to actually produce craft beer. So there's a lot of little funny stories like that in Japan. The Japanese are very, very good at getting ideas, and they just play with it and play with it until they perfect it, and you know, they come up with random things like that. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Suntory Whisky just now. We'll hopefully return to these guys in the future, but let's get on to the actual tasting of this whisky itself. So apparently this one uses a blend of malts from Yamazaki, Hakushu and also Cheetah as well. So yeah, it should be a very, very interesting one. So as you can see, the box in this is very nicely presented. This one is a limited edition as well, from what I understand. So yeah, we'll get this out. I'll let you have a little look at the bottle in a second, but it says on the back here, Hibiki was created to be the paragon of the Suntory blend. The name Hibiki literally means resonance in Japanese and reflects the Suntory corporate philosophy to live in harmony with people and nature. It actually just sounds like very much like the Japanese wa, to be honest with you. But Hibiki celebrates the Japanese nature and subtleties found in the 24 seasons of the traditional calendar, reflected in the 24 facets of its bottle design. So Hibiki is a harmonious blend of numerous malt and grain whiskies from Suntory's distilleries, which are meticulously blended to create a full orchestra of flavours and aromas. Hibiki Japanese harmony is the epitome of the Hibiki blend. This subtle, noble and harmonious blend of hints of Yamazaki sherry cask. It's an exclusive limited edition, sure to delight any whisky connoisseur. So yeah, this one technically, I guess then, is not a single malt actually. So I think this is the first non-single malt whisky that I've reviewed for you here on the channel. We can get rid of the distillery notes then for the tasting part of this. But yeah, as you can see, it's got this beautiful bottle, the sort of 24 thing. That would be a, what would you even call that shape? That would be like a dodeca square. I can't remember what you would call a quadragon or something like that. Dodeca quadragon, something like that. But yeah, lovely looking bottle. This, I love the top that it has on it as well. The Japanese, you know, the one thing you'll notice about Japan, they're very environmentally conscious. But whenever you buy any product in Japan, it's always got like layers and layers of wrapping. They're very, you know, concerned about presentation and stuff. And you know, it's really beautiful in this bottle. There you can see the Hibiki label on this one. As I said, 43% ABV on this one. And yeah, the address and things on at the back there. Yeah, so yes, and oddly enough, Suntory, you know, it seems to be that they're headquartered in Tokyo rather than still Osaka. But yeah, I guess, you know, Tokyo, the capital city, all that kind of thing. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting then. Let's have a look at this. Have a little sniff out of the bottle as we open it up. Oh, it smells really sweet actually. Very, very nice smelling one. Lots of, a little bit of a kind of tropically fruit kind of thing, and a nice kind of orangey citrus, I would say, as well, something like that. So yeah, let's get this back up. That really is a beautiful bottle. I will raise you guys that are watching a challenge. If there are any more beautiful bottles than this out there in the whisky world, do let me know. I'd be very, very curious to know. So as you can see with this one, it's a nice kind of medium, almost slightly yellowish amber colour. It looks absolutely beautiful. You know, as you would always expect with whisky, absolutely clear. But yeah, one of the kind of, in terms of the other whiskies I've seen, this one is a sort of medium colour. And from what I understand, I don't think Suntory use any colourants or things like that in their whisky. You know, the Japanese are very much purists by nature, perfectionists and purists, but it looks like a lovely little whisky, this one. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma and see how we got on with this one, or the nosing, as Ralphie and the whisky guys would say. That smells lovely. Yeah, this one's really nice. This one, for me, overall, this one, it's got a good balance. You know, for me, there's mainly three categories of whisky: the citrusy ones, the sweet ones, and also the kind of smoky ones. And for me, this one's a good sort of crossover between a citrusy whisky and a sweet whisky. So underneath, there's definitely an element of a kind of brown, sugary note in there. Some lovely oaky notes. I'm not sure if it's, I think there's a little touch of vanilla in there. You can really smell a little bit of that. Slightly brown, sugary note. It's got a little bit of spice to it at the same time though. It's almost got a little bit of like a kind of cinnamony or kind of peppery note to it. You can definitely pick up a little bit of that in the aroma. But the fruits are very, very nice. I'm noticing, you know, it's quite an orangey note that's coming out of this one. Yeah, definitely a little bit of an orangey quality. And it's almost like, I think it has like a little bit of a kind of apricot-y thing as well. Oranges and apricots. I've never thought I would get that from whisky right enough. But yeah, the aroma that comes out of this one reminds me a little bit of the yogurts that my mum used to put in my lunchbox when I was a young kid. You know, these, what were they called? Munch Bunch. She used to have this apricot one, and you know, straight away because of that I always recognise apricot when it comes up. And for me, this whisky definitely has a little touch of that apricot in there. But yeah, orangey citrus, like I said. Lovely bit of oaky, woody character in there. Definitely some brown sugars, almost a little bit. I'm not sure if it can be butterscotch maybe, and I think there's a little touch of vanilla in there as well. But yeah, and definitely some kind of almost cinnamony spices in there. I always recognise cinnamon as well. I love Kanelbuller here in Sweden. You know, since I've moved here, I've picked up the love of licorice and cinnamon and things like that. I really, really do like it. But this is a beautiful smelling whisky, and you know, I'm surprised with this because, you know, if it's a blend of, like, I think they said, was it 24? Yeah, 24. They said it's a blend of a few different things, but you know, it's using malts from all of the different distilleries that they have. But yeah, it smells just absolutely lovely. As I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aromas of these sakes and beers and whiskies and things like that you're drinking, because that's always half the experience when it comes to it. But yeah, let's have a taste of this one then. So this one is the Hibiki Master Select Edition at 43% ABV from Suntory Whisky, part of the larger kind of Suntory company, originally from Osaka in Japan. As I said, when you'll be watching this video, I'll just have landed in Osaka, and I'm sure I'll review some more Japanese whiskies for you in the future. But yeah, let's get stuck into this one. Slange, Skål, Kampai. Oh. Yeah. That's pretty nice actually. It's a little bit more spicy than I was expecting, but it certainly does smooth out a little bit. This is nice. I mean, straight away I'll tell you, this is a good whisky. Just take a little bit of time and let it all settle in there. Yeah. Second sip, it definitely smooths out a little bit. This whisky has a good little bit of an impact on it, I think. It comes across as a little bit spicy, and I'm finding as well there's a little bit of that almost spicy note coming out of this one. The further into the taste you go, I'm starting to get a little bit of an almost kind of peppery quality to this one, a sort of black peppery quality. But there is almost a little bit of a kind of, would that be ginger or something? There is a little bit of a gingery cinnamon kind of thing going on in this whisky as well, which is really nice. But The centre of your palate, for me again, is quite sweet. As I was saying, this whisky, in terms of the aroma, it really gave the impression of being quite a sweet whisky, but also with a good little bit of a citrusy character, and that definitely comes across in the flavour of this one too. Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, straight away, I mean, it's as I say, it's not a single malt, because it's a blended whisky of different single malts, which is kind of an interesting idea. But yeah, I really like how all of this is going together. It's in the middle of your palate, and you can feel this one. It's got that oaky quality is coming out very, very nicely. I'm finding that, as you say, it gets a little bit more spicy and peppery and things like that. The further into the sort of flavour that it goes. It's got to me, this one, it has a little touch of a kind of brown sugary note in there. I would say again, it's along the lines of one of these kind of almost slightly butterscotchy, not quite caramel, maybe a little bit of a lighter kind of toffee thing. There's some vanilla flavours mixing in with that as well. The sherry cask, I think, is giving it just a little bit of that sweetness, and that's probably aiding the spicy notes. I always remember sherry casks making the whisky just almost a little touch kind of spicy as well, which is really nice. The fruity side of this one is really interesting as well. There's almost a little bit of a kind of red fruity character to this one as well. I can't put my finger on quite which red fruit it is, but there's definitely a little bit of a red fruity note to this one. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of the flavour, for me, if the fruity notes come out towards the front of the palate, and it's definitely got a little bit of that nice kind of the orangey flavour that I was picking up is definitely there. There's definitely a little bit of orange at the front of the palate there, and that it comes out particularly more in the aftertaste. You've seen how long it was since I took a sip of this one. The orangey notes are really coming out a little bit more in the aftertaste. Initially though, it comes across as being quite apricot-y. Like I said, that apricot-y flavour for me is kind of reflected in the flavour a little bit, but I would say the orange is really coming out now, but it starts off more with the apricot, and there is a little element of a kind of red fruity note to this one, but I think it's leaning more towards the orangey citrus and that slightly, you know, that slightly more tropically apricot flavour in it, sorry. But yeah, this is just a really, really nice whisky. I think my sort of hypothesis I had from the aroma with this one is it being sort of blend between a slightly sweeter whisky and also a citrusy whisky. I think that really holds up in this. On the edge of your palate, as I say, I think this one gradually becomes a little bit more spicy the further into it you go, and I can't quite put my finger on whether it's ginger or cinnamon, but there's always a little bit of a kind of blackish, sort of black peppery kind of flavour to this one as well. But this is a really, really nice whisky, and you know, the Japanese, I've encountered some people back home in Scotland that have been like, oh, the Japanese can't produce whisky, only Scotch whisky is real, and I never understand this. You know, if it's good whisky, it's good whisky. Who cares where it came from? You know, the Japanese, they're very good craftsmen, and the Koreans are producing some very good whisky as well. There's Indian whiskies, there's New Zealand, there's Aussie whiskies, the Canadians, the Irish. I don't care where it comes from. If it's good whisky, it's good whisky. I always say that. It doesn't matter really where something's from. It's all about if it's a good flavour, that's the main thing, and if it's well done, it's well done. Who cares where it comes from? I can never understand this whole thing with snobbery and craft beer and whisky and things like that. Never understood it. But this is just really, really nice. If you get the chance to try this one, have a go at it. And I think it's quite rare though. I think this was released maybe a couple of years ago actually. But yeah, I think lovely whisky, this one. Really a very nice balance between sweet and citrusy. It's overall, I think the mouthfeel of this one I find it very smooth actually. It's really quite interesting. It came in initially with quite a bit of an impact, and then it smooths out nicely, and it's definitely as your palate adjusts to this one, I find that the woody flavours in this are getting a little bit kind of sweeter, that kind of toffee, and almost there is a bit of vanilla in here, I'm pretty sure of that now. The little bit of the vanilla flavour that you're getting in the centre of the palate is starting to sweeten up a little bit. The spicy notes come out a little bit more in the aftertaste. It's almost just like your palate dries out a little bit, and it's got that nice kind of fruity note to it as well, which is really good. I mean, it's an absolutely solid whisky, and it's got a good little bit of complexity to it as well. And when they're blending all these different grains and stuff together, and things, or blending these different whiskies together, it's going to give you something a little bit complex. So I'll just say a big thumbs up to the Suntory guys here, and I'd love to try some of their other whiskies that they do. I think I've got a feeling that I might have seen a Yamazaki whiskey at some point, and I have tried a couple just in time from the Nika distillery too. But yeah, lovely whiskey this one, so if you get the chance to try it, have a go at it. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this. This is just a really interesting one, and as I said, I think it was very cool to review this as my first Japanese whiskey, and it just came up at the right time too. So yeah, again, a huge thank you to Hannah and Matthias for making this review possible. I hope you guys who are watching the review have enjoyed this, and I've really enjoyed doing my first Japanese whiskey review. There will be more whiskey reviews over the coming months, and hopefully I can review some more Japanese whiskies for you at some point in the near future. I will see if I can bring a bottle or two back with me, and you'll see those reviewed at some point. So yeah, this one was the Hibiki Master Select Edition from Suntory Whisky, originally from Osaka in Japan, and you will see over the next little period some more Japanese beer reviews, some sake reviews, and as I say, hopefully a couple of whisky reviews as well. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Make sure you check out my social media. If you enjoyed the video, please do consider subscribing, and as always, give me some recommendations of different Japanese distilleries that I should have a look at. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Hibiki Master Select from Suntory Whisky, originally from Osaka in Japan. Until the next time, it's Landry just now, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Kanpai.